So we can do it as maybe additional member comments, and as long as we're doing it. Okay.
So in my head, you asked for it, the DSO was in my.
Live now.
You tell us when we're ready, Jacinta. Madam Chair, you're going to
I will say
call us back
something,
to it, yeah.
Oh, it's not good work.
Okay, so we do have one additional item that needs to be discussed, so I'm gonna call the CSC Leon's Executive Committee meeting, April 10th, back to order. Just briefly, the time is now 5:54. We have one more topic to discuss. With that, Mr. Mitchell. Do you have a
Yeah,
comment?
thank you very much for accommodating me. It has come to my attention that in addition to Ms. Connor resigning at our March 23rd meeting was her last meeting, as well as my appointment that's sort of still in limbo, that Ms. McFadden has also offered her letter of resignation, which, believe me, we will be suffering greatly, but that means that at any given time, there's at least 2 board members that we don't have. And with a board, a total of 10, I think we start to get, it's a little dicey. And what I would like to recommend is that the council go back to the county commission, because the requirement is the county commission make the recommendations. Ask for, as quickly as possible, like tomorrow, send out an announcement letting them know that there is another, there is a vacancy, at least one vacancy. And I mean, the commission is required to provide 3 names per. Well, they only provided 7 names. So we can't even use that pool of applicants because it's not enough. Because I thought, and then I was like, no, there's only 7. So maybe asking the county commission to use however they want to do it. Hopefully they'll use the same process. Each county commissioner will look at a list of the applicants and make a selection from it. That will give the governor 7 more names for Ms. McFadden's position. And maybe he doesn't like the 7 that were submitted to him. So he'll have choices. I just don't want the council having less than a full council. And I remember when we were first forming, the governor's office Governor DeSantis was amazing at how quickly he turned around the appointments. That had not been done in the past. So it really is important to me that we let the county commission know, let them advertise the fact that there's vacancies, ask them to, do whatever process they want and recommend replacements to the governor's office for Ms. McFadden's position.
Sure. So Ms. Green and I discussed this briefly because I was asking her, I need to find out what the process is, go back to the county and ask them what they needed to do. And I agree. My question is, would we be asking them to recommend another 7 names for Ms. McFadden, or just 2 additional names so that 9 names go to the governor as opposed to 7?
So here, just from a flexibility, it's less about the county and more about the willing participants. That so what I would encourage, one, I would not want to make 7 commissioners come up with a list of 3 or 2. And I also think that there may be people who are interested in applying, and essentially it contemplates every time there's a vacancy, you will advertise again to the taxpayers, to the people of Leon County. So that's why they can do it however they want. But I think the more the merrier. And again, I was a little disappointed, candidly, that as many people applied in the first go round. It was almost like nobody knew about the second go round. And from a competition standpoint, it didn't bother me at all. But there were only 14 applicants the last time. So, and 7 of them were selected to be forwarded to the governor. So my hope is that the county will re-advertise, that we will do our very best to encourage, everyone we know. This is sort of like the evaluation committee, letting people know that there is such a thing and encouraging them to apply.
Sure. Ms. Green, what did you find out when you contacted them?
So they will have to advertise that there's a vacancy, which means they will need to open an application.
Okay.
Because I don't think they can just go back to the original list.
Okay.
And so then at that point, it's up to them to decide.
Okay.
After they open it up, close it, then they decide how they pick at least 3.
Okay.
So there have to be at least 3 names
Let's go forward.
for the one vacancy.
And you did inform them already about
Yes.
Ms. McFadden. Okay, so they've been notified. They're in the process of doing what they need to do. Okay.
So do we know how long, and this probably is a county rule, that it needs to be advertised?
That I don't know, but I will find out. Our timeline originally with the expiring terms, it was advertised in November. And so it was open it had been October. It was open 3 months, let me just say that. So it must have been October, November, December. January 6th was the last day that you could fill an application out. And then they took the next 30 days to vet the applications. They had to make sure everything.
Yeah.
And then that's when they came up with the 14 names that were presented to the council, the commission. And they determined that each of them would get a vote. Yeah.
So, but there is, I don't think from a county perspective, there's a requirement that they have 2 months or 3 months. I mean, I would have.
Well, that was just the process that was used for the expiring terms.
Right.
For a vacancy, it could be different, and I don't have that clarity.
Right.
yet.
I don't think they do. I think they were just trying, they knew about it. Let's give people enough time. I hope that between the 10, well, yes, including Ms. Connor and Ms. McFadden, the 10 original council members, we'll say also 11 with Judge Sostrom, and the school board member, Alva Striplin. We are growing.
Yeah.
Look how big of a family we are, that we can canvass and this county, all of the people who've been evaluators, all of the people who've signed in for anything, that we can alert them to the fact that there is a vacancy. And here's the county posting. Because to me, the more people know about it, the more applicants will come in. The more applicants that come in, the better pool that we're giving the county commissioners. The better pool the county commissioners have, the better pool that the governor will have to select from. And we can be certain that there is a quick turnaround. And I will tell you, the governor's appointments office is a really well run, and it's not an easy task with all of the boards and councils throughout the state. But this particular appointments office over the last 4 years has been really, really good. So let's use it to our advantage.
Absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up. And I do know that Ms. Green has been in touch with the commissioners. They're going to move forward with that. And then hopefully they'll be able to expedite that process. And the good thing is we can even broach this during our conversation with Ms. Cummings when she's, at the next meeting, and get some sense as to when she thinks the council will be able to move and how quickly they'll be able to move on that. So maybe that's something we can include into the conversation next month. Okay.
Madam Chair, the one final thing, as long as we're on this topic, is we all had advance notice that, at least one board meeting, actually several board meetings, when Ms. Connor was leaving. With Ms. McFadden resigning, it's almost like, I know how much work that lady put into to this board over the last 2 years, and it would be a travesty to let her just go without the council sort of recognize it. Oh, look at you, okay.
Yeah,
Never mind.
well, I said, Ms. McFadden, I'm not gonna let you go without celebrating you
Good.
at all. However, she's traveling during our next two board meetings, so she will be in attendance to our July meeting. And she promised to be there, and we will celebrate her in a very special way.
Thank you, Barry.
Of course, all right, thank you. All right, any other comments?
Did you ask her to make sure that we got the little charcuterie?
No, we did not.
yeah. I think from here on out, if you're going to be from the board, it's a requirement.
The cheesecake was really good. Yeah, it was really good. All right, thank you for that. All right, so we are going to adjourn the meeting. The time is now 6:04 p.m. and we are adjourned.